The hard work of improving New Yorkers' lives starts now. That process begins with transition. In the coming months, I and my team will build a city hall capable of delivering on the promises of this campaign. We will form an administration that is in equal parts capable and compassionate, driven by integrity, and willing to work just as hard as the millions of New Yorkers who call this city home.
And if you're keeping count, this is day 37. 37. It seems unbelievable to us that we've gone this long. It is officially and shamefully the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Republicans feel very helpless about the situation because, as we've noted, there is really nothing for us to negotiate. We sent them a clean CR, as you know, back in September 19th. We passed it out of the House. It feels like a lifetime ago. But that was a nonpartisan measure. It was 24 pages in length. It has no Republican priorities on it at all. It was merely the status quo to keep the lights on so that the members of Congress and the Republican and Democrat Party could work together to finish the government funding appropriations process. And the Democrats tried to turn that into a game.
Well, allow me to join all those who have offered up their congratulations to Zohran Mamdani, the newly elected Democrat Socialist mayor of New York City, whom this program endorsed just last week because, well, if adults want to do dumb things, sometimes you just have to let them do it and let them deal with the consequences. And you know what? I'm not going to lie or sugarcoat it. Election Tuesday was a disaster for the Republicans. It saw a bunch of big wins for Democrats, not just in New York City, but in other key races. In New Jersey, where Democrat Mikey Sherrill knocked off Republican challenger Rick Ciccarelli. And in Virginia, where not only did Democrat Abigail Spanberger beat Republican Winsome Earl Sears, but where as well Democrat Attorney General Jay Jones also beat his Republican opponent, Jason Miyares, despite his campaign being rocked by text message scandals, which revealed not only that Jones once fantasized about murdering, that's right, shooting dead Republican legislators, but also appeared to celebrate the idea of their children being killed too. So much for the politics of civility. Now, there's a lot of reasons why all this happened, including a public servant-heavy Virginia, where there was a lot of anger over the ongoing government shutdown. But, you know, the big story of the week remains this guy, Zohran Mamdani, the soon-to-be Democrat Socialist mayor of New York, who prevailed over Democrat-turned-independent Andrew Cuomo and Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa. So, at this point, we really need to look at what happened here. Who are these people who actually voted for this guy? Why did they vote for him? And has he cracked a formula that the Democrats can use more broadly going into the midterms and 2028 to prevail over Donald Trump and the MAGA movement? And here's the biggie. Is New York City now going to get its free buses, free childcare, capped rents, defunded police, and Lord knows what else Zohran has in store for them? Well, first of all, to the question of who voted him in, let's ask Zohran himself. This is who Zohran Mamdani says was behind his movement.
I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties.
Where were the Irish pub owners, the French pastry chefs? I don't know. But notice one thing that he didn't talk about at all. He didn't talk about, actual Americans, because Zohran Mamdani is the face of the new multicultural ethic of the left, one that spurns assimilation in the old melting pot for a Hotel America model where people define themselves by their individual ethnic identity, not by their common Americanness. And indeed, Mamdani's victory goes to the heart of a much bigger problem, not just of illegal migration, but also legal migration encouraged by people who believe that you can bring people from very different cultures in and they will automatically become lovers of individualism and freedom and capitalism as soon as they set foot on U.S. soil, or, let's be frank, Australian soil as well. Demographics is destiny, and as Mamdani's own campaign videos suggest, well, not so much.
Thank you, my brother.
Just got my citizenship.
Hey, congratulations! Congratulations! That's amazing.
You're a game changer.
Thank you, my brother.
Much.
So that's part of it. You get your citizenship, you vote for Mamdani. And it is a fundamentally reshaping of New York, a fundamentally reshaped New York that helped push him over the line. Because, this just shocks me. Imagine coming to become a citizen of the greatest capitalist power in the history of the world and voting for this guy who opened his acceptance speech, his victory speech, by quoting a literal communist.
The sun may have set over our city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity.
Ah, how they cheered. Yes, Eugene Debs, the old communist. But I wonder what sort of people are also out there falling for this, what did Joe Biden call it? Malarkey.
What's your favorite example of socialism that's worked?
I don't have a big example of socialism.
Like between Venezuela, Cuba, Soviet Union, what's your favorite one?
Man, you put me on the spot. I'm gonna have to go Cuba. Man, I'm gonna have to go Cuba. Yeah, let's go there. It's just so complicated for me. I got so much information in my head, but I'm gonna go with that.
Do you think Mamdani's the future of the Democratic Party?
I hope so.
Ah, yes, good old Cuba. Well, it wasn't just socialists who voted for Mamdani, but he also had the support of full-on communists as well.
The grocery store capitalists, which have quite a powerful lobby, right? One of the grocery store bosses, he said of Gristedes, right? He said that he was going to pull out of New York City if Zohran won, right? We would say, sure, pull out, and we will take over your grocery stores, right? And we will use them for cheaper groceries, and we will take over the entire food industry because that's something that can be done if the working class is organized.
Well, that has worked so well so many times in the past. But let's meet some more voters like this couple who look, very educated and intelligent, but clearly never studied economics.
And what about the government-run grocery stores? Do you think that that's a model that could work?
Yes.
And
I
why?
think there's too many hungry people and too many potatoes here that are $5 a pound.
Are these people serious? Look, the really interesting thing about all this is that for all of Zohran Mamdani's claiming to be the mantle of the hero of the ethnic working classes, it is the reasonably well-off who really were his biggest supporters. According to this Zenith research poll taken just before polling day, Mamdani's main opponent, Andrew Cuomo, was relatively stronger with native New Yorkers, low-income New Yorkers, and people who lived in public and rent-controlled units. But Mamdani did better with relatively better with newcomers to the city, i.e. transplants from elsewhere in the U.S. or the world, the well-off, and market-rate renters. this exit poll here also showed Mamdani doing better with more educated voters. The more education you had, the more degrees you had, the more likely you were to vote Zohran. But this here was also a massive surprise to me, and there's a big danger in this one here. So much for the idea that young men are conservative and young women are lefties trope. This threw this away. This exit poll found that Gen Z women broke 84% for Mamdani. Well, that's huge, but it also found that Gen Z young men also voted 68% for Mamdani. That's an overwhelming preponderance. So, what's going on here? Well, there's a lot of theories out there, and we are going to canvass them during the next hour of the program, but let me suggest to you that New York has always drawn people who are smart, ambitious, and want to be stars in whatever field is out there for them. Yet the reality is, especially these days, there aren't enough prestige jobs for every ambitious youngster. And the city is expensive, and life is frustrating, and sociologists call this phenomenon the crisis of elite overproduction. And whenever this happens in society, things get unstable, as they are now. And so when a happy-talking, exotic fellow like Mamdani comes along, overruns their social media, sells them hope, and promises of free stuff, well, of course, they vote for him over people like the sourpuss Andrew Cuomo or the raving Curtis Sliwa. Democrats who think the free stuff mantra will play everywhere in the country, though, should, as a result of this, think twice, because the rest of America is very different to New York City. And it's funny. Donald Trump is from New York, and his opponent just won the mayoralty there because his hometown rejected him. Yet the country turned out en masse to give Trump a second term last year. So, Mamdani may be popular in New York, but frankly, I doubt his brand of upbeat ethnic socialism will ever play in Peoria.